Announcements, welcome to the 4th October Infrastructure Services Committee. I have an apology from the Chair, Councillor Clout. So before we commence the meeting, one of the three members of the committee will leave the chair. Do I have a nomination from any of the three?
Me. Councillor Ryan or McPhee? Councillor Ryan.
Councillor Ryan, are you comfortable, happy to accept the nomination from the Mayor to chair the meeting?
Yes, so.
General Manager, would you like to come up to chair? The chair. Okay, I'll hand over to Deputy Mayor Pat Ryan to chair the meeting. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Welcome. It's hard for this. I always do here with the computer screen. So the meeting's been opened by the General Manager. Any applications to attend via video link?
Mr. Chair.
We've received the apology. Could we have a mover? Councillor Collison, Councillor Vic, second, all in favour?
Yep.
Carried. Disclosures of interest.
Now received, Mr. Chair.
Public participation.
Public participation again.
Okay, great. So I didn't go through and read the meeting or the audio recorded. I get that's a given. No other recordings of this meeting without prior authorisation of the committee. Move on to 5 business items. We'll start with ISC 10.1, the Works Program, Infrastructure Services, Water and Sewerage. And the responsible officer is Director Rugg. Would you like to?
I'll stop Graham.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will take you through the report, a couple of items worth highlighting. We obviously didn't meet our KPI for water quality, having boil water alert last month. We've had to improve as we go. I'll take you to the second page, which was the Scone Aberdeen water quality. At this point in time, the water for Scone is coming from Aberdeen, has been for the last several months. That water level is now dropping, and we're going to be starting to move towards getting the Glenbourne line back in operation. The turbidity of that line is between about 2.5 to 3.5. We're getting an algae test done and some other water testing tomorrow, and we're in the process of flushing the line. So we anticipate within a few days we'll be back to the Glenbourne supply. And that supply is improving. On page 3, we have awarded our tender to Dredging Solutions for dredging of the Aberdeen Sewer Treatment Plant. That'll take a fair bit of time before it comes around to actually being done, but that has been awarded and notified. You'll notice there's a couple of photos later in the report which show the pipeline encasement. All that work is now completed, and we already have removed ourselves from the tunnel and the screen. Probably the only other item for note is right at the very end of the report, there's some things on the electrical control and communications upgrade. We're looking at doing some work into the future on our electrical controls. All our switchboards are 25, 30, some of them are 45 and 50 years old. We're looking to bring those up to the current condition. And so we're just going to do a campaign of doing some design work similar to what we did with our pipework replacement process. So we'll just keep informing in future meetings what's happening in that space. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Do we have any questions or comments with regards to the report?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just think it's great that work at Glenbourne Dam's been done. So thank you for your patience on that, because we know that was a very frustrating process that you had to deal with. So thank you.
Okay, so the recommendation of the committee receive the report and note the information. Move Mayor Colson, second Councillor B. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, so we move forward then to item ISC 10.2, Works Program, Infrastructure Services, Works Delivery. And can I hand that over to Jade to speak to that, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So the purpose of this report is to provide an update on the works, delivery programs and other project updates. I trust the report is read. In the month of September, the team has completed substantial works, well exceeding the monthly targets. We have completed painting at our pools in Scone and Murada, and it's all in operation now. Completed a gravel resheeting on Davis Creek Road for 6 kilometers and Vola Road for around 7.6 kilometers. Resealing preparation works are in progress currently. And we have completed the pipe culvert works on Ridgeland roads. And we have commenced rehabilitation works of 1 kilometer segment on the Golden Highway in Merriwa. That's all the key highlights from this report, and you can see some photographs of works that we have completed. Thank you very much and open for questions.
Any comments or questions?
Just really, Mr. Chair, might be the right spot. I think I put a question on Bela Corner. Any updates?
Your chair, again, it's there. So Bela Corner, has been funded in our depot, actually, towards the end of this year or next year. So we are currently, looking at, getting the proper design done, because of the corner there and drainage works and super elevation, some technical things that's required. So once the design is done, we will program it, for works delivery. Until then, there will be some temporary, pothole patches and, patching works done.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, so the recommendation committee received the report and note the information and move it, please.
So moved.
Councillor McPhee, second.
Second.
Mayor Collison, all those in favour? Carried. Okay, so we're going to IC 10.3 strategic and capital works update. And that is, yeah, okay. Over to you, Rory.
Thank you, Chair. I assume that the reports being read, so just some quick highlights. This report gives updates up to end of September month. As you note in the report, we are tracking on for our actually proactively working to track very well ahead of the budget. And we've completed around $9.3 million worth of capital work so far, and 9 projects already complete, with a couple more expected to complete this month. So we're tracking well with our capital works program at this stage. Happy to take any questions.
Questions or comments? I've got one, it's probably fairly straightforward. I noticed the work going ahead with what I presume is the Bellman hangar at the airport, and looks like some concrete foundations being made, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's all moving along as planned?
Through Mr. Chair, that project sits in the business services unit, so I can probably give you a bit of an update. We've got the slab forward for the workshop, which is at the back of the same lot, and that workshop will be erected for a start. The Bellman hangar we're just waiting for some confirmation on the methodology, because we need to get water supply to that facility as well, so that's being sorted out as we speak. In the meantime, the slab and the piers for the steel frames are being poured.
I noted that it said watch for potential issues, so I'm assuming that's because it's actually moving ahead and something's happening, which is good. Any other questions? Go to the report. Okay, so the recommendation the committee received and note the report and note the information. I move that, Mayor Collison, second, Councillor McPhee, all those in favour?
Yep.
Carried. Okay, we move to IC 10.4, MR 358, the Willow Tree Road upgrade. page 36.
Yes, Chair. This report provides a monthly progress summary of the works undertaken on Main Road 3 Program. Table 2 is a summary of the critical activities, which is giving a good indication of where we're up to date. Mostly 100% complete, down to table drains and curbing, which in the last month's gone from 45% to 80% complete. And road paving construction, which has gone from 55% to 70% complete. Activities over the next month, which is the month of October, is base pavement material replacement continuing, table drain curbing and cross drainage construction continuing, so we're going from 80 to 100, and construction and maintenance of access tracks. We've got an access track between or behind the big gaming wall, we've actually all been down to. That just gives us access to maintain that wall and others over the following years to come on this. A revised dry weather schedule provided by the program indicates that guardrail will be installed, indicates that we completed by mid-December, early December, mid-December. Dry weather only. The guardrails scheduled to be installed in mid-November. The bitumen sealing for section 1 and section 2, which is the bottom two areas, is going to be sealed early to mid-November. Sealing in sections 3 and 4 up to the site boundary is mid to late November, and line marking all sections late November. They propose to demobilise and off the job site early to mid December. So that's not saying it'll open the road, but some heavy patching leading up to the job. Prindo's got a bit to do, and there's always a bit of tidy up. And worry about scheduling the official opening, I guess, somewhere down the track.
Through Mr. Chair, there was a question in the planning committee from Councillor Stiles about the rest of Coulston Creek Road and the lead up to these works. We gave him a response to that in that meeting. Why don't we just start the meeting, just after the meeting out. So I would advise that yes, we do have that plan. I believe it's about $700,000 worth of work in patching along Coulston Creek Road to be done on that water. And as Jeff has said, that'll be done prior to us opening it up to trade.
I think that's been a fairly common question from residents and what the plans were. I did actually drive on the northern side on the Liverpool Plains Shire Road, and they're doing some heavy patching work and actually resealing some of those sections as well. So we've got a couple of crossings all washed out. Yeah. All right, so no one's going to commit to an actual opening date, but I think we've got a pretty clear picture where we're at, and that all sounds pretty good, I think, for most people. Any further questions? Well done. So the recommendation is to receive the report and note the information. Can we have a mover, please? Councillor McPhee, seconded. Mayor Collison, all those in favour? Carried. And we move on to IC 10.5, Casseless Sewerage System Project Update on page 47. And who we've got to? Graham, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll talk briefly on this report. It's fairly light on. The works are still progressing with section 60 with DQ, and we have progressed that slightly. And there's also some big work around easements to get the legal understanding of the requirements. Those two items are probably the key items that we're going to be progressing in the next month before we get into a fair bit of the design review. So that's principally what was happening in the last month and will happen in the next month. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Graham. Any questions or comments? Like we're done there. So we need a mover with the committee receive a report and note information. Mayor Collison, second Councillor McPhee, all those in favour? Carried. And we're almost to the end. We're at IC 10.6, which is the Rural Roads Advisory Committee. Right, would you like to make a few comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to give a bit of an update on about the meeting and the report, and you can probably end up with my comments So the Rural Roads Advisory Committee actually had their second meeting. The first meeting was an information session, which happened on 31st of July. We had a follow-up meeting where we went into discussions on the 4th of September. The meeting minutes are attached for your reference. So some of the high-level things that were discussed were regarding where they could find where the committee or a customer could find the road-related policies and how can they access via the council website. Also, wanted some clarification on the road hierarchy and the methodology used and how we are programming our works, just to understand the background of how we are programming our maintenance and construction works, and also flood works, as well as there were some general concerns raised regarding how we manage the cost and also the priorities for ongoing road maintenance as well. And there was some discussion around potential quarries that could be identified as local gravel sources within the Mary River Castles area, and there was actually an agreement on meeting outside the this formal meeting thing, and actually discussing on who could help with coming up with identifying sources of potential quarries or gravel sources for us to use some materials for our the unsealed road maintenance, and that will be subject to obviously testing and should conform to our requirements and standards, but that was a good discussion. And out of the meeting, there were the 4 recommendations that has been put forward to the committee to adopt. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. So the only thing that I would add to that, I guess from the position of chairing that meeting, is that one of the challenges in forming a new committee and getting a track to run on, obviously the information session was very useful, but as we all appreciate, often it's difficult for committees to determine where they can make a meaningful contribution without getting bogged down or getting involved in what are ostensibly operational issues. So that's probably one of the challenges that we'll keep a close eye on moving forward, to make sure that we're getting a meaningful contribution without getting into the weeds where it's really not warranted. So one of the things that came out of that was, I'll speak a little bit about we've got a group that are going to work on identifying some quarry sources and how we can direct those energies, was that the ability to give the committee monthly updates. We're only planning on meeting twice a year, and the monthly updates are just in the form of our maintenance schedule and so forth. So extracting those very specific reports out of the large reports, or the minutes of the infrastructure services, or indeed the council minutes, and providing those so that they've actually got something that they can keep track of. And I mean, they're the things that people are interested in. What's the maintenance schedule, which roads have been done, when, and so on and so forth. And if they want to make a meaningful contribution there, then that would be welcome. More specifically though, it seemed that they focus very much on the source of gravel, and I think this is an area where they feel they can add some value by potentially identifying manholes that might have potential gravel sources. So what the committee resolved to do was to form a small working group. They would start the western end of the Shire, and they're going to try and liaise with a few landowners out there where they believe there may be some potential benefits to feed that information back and see where that goes. So that was the whole purpose around that, and that's the main initiative that they want to sink their teeth into initially. So it's very specific. It's a small group of people, very specific area. Naturally, it spread to the whole of the Shire, depending on how that progresses. And the other thing, which I think was a resounding support from the committee, from the 2 presentations that we ultimately had, there is a high level of enthusiasm to adopt the RACUS technology as a method achieving 2 things. One, the ongoing maintenance and identifying potential challenge areas, but also to support grant applications, particularly wet weather and so forth. So we've got before and afters and so forth. So I would say the committee were very enthusiastic about that, and they do wholeheartedly support and endorse that initiative. So they were the comments that they've asked me to make, so thank you for indulging me in that. So we have a recommendation that the committee adopt the minutes, which have been attached. And to endorse the committee members, or to identify a list of gravel sources and provide information to council. So it's just an information process initially. And they also wanted to endorse the ongoing council funding of Araka software technology. And receive a presentation on innovative techniques for rural road improvements in the next meeting. So they were the requests. Is somebody able to move those recommendations? Councillor McPhee, second. Mayor Collison, all those in favour? All right, carried. Okay, so I think that will just about conclude the meeting. If I haven't missed anything, no, sounds like it is. So on that basis, thank you very much for your attendance. I look forward to seeing you next month, the infrastructure services meeting. We close the meeting. Thank you.